Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ivy, and today I'm going to be doing my, April wrap-up and May TBR. I should be doing my homework right now, but I don't have the energy, so here I am. I am going to talk about the shows and movies that I watched in April, as well as the books that I read, and the books that I want to read in May. We're gonna start with shows. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh my god, this show is so good. I was so happy with it. This is the latest Marvel show that was coming out on Disney+. It just ended like a week ago maybe. Following Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes following the events of Endgame. The dynamic between Sam and Bucky is top-notch. It was so much fun to watch, and that's honestly the best part of the show. I've always had a soft spot for Bucky Barnes. I love Sebastian Stan. We finally learn more about Sam in this. We get like a full arc for him, and his arc throughout this show was so satisfying, and it was also really relevant, especially right now, but it's something that always would have been relevant and always will be relevant. So I loved Sam and his whole entire journey in this show. I wish I could tell you more, but that would spoil it. Another thing that I really enjoyed was seeing the fallout from Endgame, because in WandaVision we didn't really get that. Here, we totally do. You not only get to see how it infects the individual characters, like the effect it's having on Sam and Bucky and everyone around them, but you also get to see how the world has been changed from what happens in Infinity War and Endgame, and it was so fascinating but so exciting because I feel like this is the first time it's really been addressed. There's a villain in here that I put villain in quotes because the person, it's really hard to hate this person, and there's a lot of gray area because there's a lot of complex issues, and it's so good. I love it when there's a antagonist who you don't really hate because they're not just like evil, they're more like borderline, and they just did it really well. It's setting up some exciting stuff for the future of Marvel, which of course I'm excited for. I will say I was kind of confused at times during this show just because some of like the motives of certain characters was not clear to me, and also it's Marvel, so there was a lot going on, but by the end of the show I did feel better and I was kind of understanding what was happening. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It did not make me cry, but I almost did, and I loved it so much. Sherlock Series 1. This is a rewatch for me because they're taking it off Netflix on May 14th, which is such a tragic thing, so I'm trying to get through all of the episodes before then. The last time I watched this, I was way too young to appreciate it. Not necessarily too young to handle it because I was fine, but I was too young to truly appreciate this show and how perfect it is. Honestly, as soon as I turn it on, my heart just is so full. I'm so happy when I'm watching this show, and oh my god, this might be my favorite show of all time. Sherlock and John are phenomenal characters, both in their own rights. Obviously, Sherlock Holmes is Sherlock Holmes, and John Watson is John Watson, but I just think this interpretation of it is so good. I say that like I've read the books. I have not read the books, but I want to. The friendship between these two men is one of the best things I've ever experienced in like books, movies, whatever. I live for this friendship, and it will forever have my heart wrapped around its little finger. The acting in this show is absolutely incredible. We have Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock, who, if you've seen the show, obviously it's so good. And then you have Martin Freeman as John Watson, which again is so good. The two of them are some of my favorite actors of all time. Moriarty, the actor who plays Moriarty, I can't remember his name, but he is fantastic as well. Everyone is fantastic, but especially those three. The soundtrack is incredible. I'm literally singing it all the time because I'm still rewatching it, so I'm just, all the time, I'm like, do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's so good. The mysteries themselves in each episode are so good. They're so just, oh my god, it grips you so hard, and you cannot stop watching. It's hilarious. When I tell you hilarious, I mean hilarious, but it's such smart humor because these characters are so smart. And oh, it's so good. This show rips out my heart and stomps on it, and I know what's coming some of the time. Like, I forget a lot, but I know what's coming, and it's still just completely destroys me, and I love it. I will have this show destroy me any day of the week. 5 out of 5 stars. I haven't cried yet, but only one series in, so there's still time. The first movie I watched this month was 13 Going on 30, and I actually really like this one. On her 13th birthday, the main character of this movie wishes that she was 30, and then she wakes up and is 30. I mean, that's just a great concept right off the bat. It's so much fun. I laughed so hard in so many scenes. Like, usually with this type of movie, there'll be maybe 1 or 2 scenes that really get me. This movie, I was laughing basically the entire time. Jennifer Garner plays the girl when she's 30, and she did great. I really liked her. I've always loved her, but I thought she was fantastic. The soundtrack was also great. There were so many great songs on it, and I kept, like, dancing, and it was such a fun time. I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and it did not make me cry. The second and last movie that I watched was Soul. Finally, I've wanted to see it for so long. This is an animated movie about a jazz teacher and essentially what it means to have a soul. It gets very deep very fast. I went into this with such high expectations because everyone's been talking about it on the internet and elsewhere, and I was not disappointed. The beginning was weird. I will say that. The beginning was weird and jarring, and I was like, oh god, is this gonna be like a complete letdown? But once you get into the groove of things and you get used to what's happening, it was fantastic. This entire movie is so smart and so creative, and I am in awe of the people who thought this up in their brain and then made it happen. The animation was really cool. I loved the style. There were a lot of really just cool things, and I don't want to give too much away because you need to watch it for yourself, but just lots of really cool stuff. The music, of course, was great. All the jazz made me so happy. The overall message of this movie hit me so hard, unlike any kids movie that I've watched recently has. It's really profound and just, it got me. I honestly think this was made more for adults than kids, because if I were a kid watching this, I would be kind of confused and like I wouldn't enjoy it. But being a teenager, I kind of like, it definitely felt more for older people. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I did not cry. Alright, so I read one book this month, and that was Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. Finally. I've been talking about this for like so long. This is the second book in the Last Hours trilogy, which is part of the Shadowhunters Chronicles, which, if you want to know what the Shadowhunters Chronicles is, Google it, because I can't explain it to you. It's too complicated. I'm gonna do a full-on review for this book when I have time, hopefully next week. Probably not, but hopefully next week. So I'm gonna give more full thoughts and opinions in there. For now, I will just say I'm obsessed with these characters and their relationships, mostly all of them. There's some that I'm like, about, but mostly I love these people and I love how they interact and how they all care about each other, and it's so good. Like pretty much all Cassandra Clare books, it has a incredibly intricate plot, lots of different threads that all come together in a very satisfying way, and that is one of the things that I love most about Cassie Clare. Okay, I will say, some aspects of it are stale at this point, but for the most part, Cassandra Clare manages to still write these Shadowhunters books and still have them all be different and all be good, and it's so impressive to me that she can do that. I will say, it did not destroy me as much as I thought it would. I kept seeing people be like, oh my god, I finished Chain of Iron and I'm a mess now. I was fine. I mean, some of the stuff in here hurt, but it didn't kill me. The one thing I will say that I did not like was the miscommunication trope in here. I'm tired of it, especially in Cassandra Clare books. And just, I felt like there was some unnecessary drama, which I know basically these books are drama, but I usually enjoy it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I did not cry, and I'm excited for the next one. For the books that I want to read in May, god, I can't believe it's May, I'm just gonna go through them really quick. First of all, we have The Desolations of Devil's Acre by, is that the right title? Yes, The Desolations of Devil's Acre by Ransom Riggs. This is the, oh my god, I'm dropping it, 6th book of Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children. This series is pretty cool. Basically, it's inspired by all these old photographs, like the one on the cover here, and the author, Ransom Riggs, kind of weaves a story around said photographs. In the first book, the main character, Jacob Portman, loses his grandfather in a very horrible way, and starts to discover a world of peculiars, which are people with very strange abilities that are also very cool, and Jacob discovers that maybe his life isn't as boring as he thought it was after all. Then I may or may not read The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is the book club book that I was supposed to read like a week ago, and I have not yet. It is a reread for me, but I literally don't remember anything except that it's in a graveyard, so I don't know. I might reread it. Maybe not, because I'm already late, but we'll see. Alright, and then if I get to this, that'll be a miracle. But I also want to read Kingdom of the Blazing Pheonix by Julie C. Dow. This is book 2 in the Rise of the Empress series. The first book is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns. This is an East Asian reimagining of the Evil Queen story from Snow White, which is a pretty cool concept. I liked the first book. I wouldn't say I loved it, but it ended in a way that really made me need to know what happened next. So I'm going to read this one as well. And maybe it'll be better than the first one, who knows? So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time with another video. Bye.